Fellow YouTubers, thanks for checking out my second life improvement video, how to eradicate social media addiction. Today we're going to push back more of those negative feelings and take on the good fight for you and your mental health. If you haven't seen part 1 to this series, I discuss things that transformed my shite show existence to one of peace. And if you haven't seen that first video I'm talking about, I strongly recommend you do so. But for now, let's press forward with what I call the second evolution. Have you ever been in a room that's dirty and cluttered? Do you remember how you felt? I don't know about you, but it drives me crazy. Now, do you remember how you felt after you made the conscious choice to clean, purge, and reorganize that room? You were like, you felt better. You felt relaxed. You really felt at peace within the confines of your own walls. Once you clean and declutter your brain from the majority of your negative thoughts and emotions, trust me when I say this, you're able to see the forest from the trees. Once I successfully cleaned out 80% of all the crap floating around inside my head, I was in a much better position to be able to figure out the remaining stuff that needed to be tossed. More specifically, I was able to isolate specific trigger events which caused the remainder of my negative emotions. Once I became clear-headed, I noticed a trend. Before I signed on to social media, I felt upbeat and relaxed. By the time I logged off, I felt depressed, lonely, and even annoyed. So one day, a question popped into my little mind. And that question is, does social media really impact my emotions? And the answer is, oh my God, yes. Never before in history have we been so connected, but disconnected as well. Human beings are pre-programmed to interact with other humans in the flesh, not through an electronic portal. Now, there's nothing wrong with electronic communication, but it's called moderation. There's a time and a place for everything. So if you're truly serious about improving the quality of your life, it's time to ask yourself this really hard, cold question. Am I truly addicted to social media? In this video, we're going to examine a host of issues followed by a challenge which I did on myself. And the results have been both body and mind blowing. My only regret, I wish I cut the damn cord 25 years ago. Think about that for 1 second. 25 years on social media. I calculated my estimated number of lost years, 2.6 years of my life. Down the pooper. Ever wonder what your number is? So let's take a minute to see how addicted you truly are. Do you scroll through your feeds the second you wake up? Before bed or throughout the night? Does your world implode when your internet or favorite site goes down? Do you check text messages and social media feeds after sex? Do you confuse what somebody has told you in real life and what was said on Facebook? Has your relationship suffered due to your social media consumption? Have you created a Twitter or Facebook account for your pet? Do you use social media to avoid real life responsibility? Do you hashtag about everything under the sun? If you answered yes to 3 more of these questions, it's safe to say that you're addicted. But that's okay because you're not alone. And if I could break free, so could you. In my first video, I discussed the 80-20 rule, which states 80% of our thoughts, feelings, and actions derive from our subconscious, and only 20% comes from our conscious or thinking brain. So now that you know that, let's examine what your subconscious activities are telling you about you. Scrolling is a symptom of procrastination. Psychologists consider procrastination to be a misplaced coping mechanism. Oversharing is a symptom of loneliness or indecision. Creeping is a symptom of misplaced affection or unhealthy self-comparisons. Obsessive checking notifications is a symptom of people-pleasing. Obsessive refreshing of your feed is a symptom of fear of missing out, or FOMO. In my first video, I explained to you that every time you experience an emotion, whether it be good or bad, your body naturally releases a drug in association with that particular emotion. And over time, we all become addicted. Facebook is built on your desire for instant gratification. Your brain receives a hit of dopamine every time you get a notification. Dopamine is a chemical that causes you to seek pleasure, but too much can lead to self-destructive behavior. We all have the desire to be liked by our friends. Every time you get a like, your brain interprets that as somebody likes you. Continue thinking like this, and you'll definitely turn into an addict, ready for the next hit. Remember, this is not something you're consciously aware of. It's subconscious, which is why it's so dangerous. That's why people post themselves doing dangerous things to get that ultimate selfie, which has led to some very unfortunate ends. Social media also leads to cyberbullying, alcohol and drug use, as social media glamorizes this behavior. A lower sense of life satisfaction, a sense of narcissism, which filters into and destroys our personal relationships. A sense of isolation, 200 plus friends and virtually nobody visits, calls, comments, or likes or posts, which reaffirms the lack of closeness in your life, a false sense of connection. By putting so much time into cyber friends, our real-world relationships suffer. The comparison game. Subconsciously, we compare our lives to those online. Their life seems better, and we believe it. The effects are devastating, especially those suffering from depression or low confidence. Fantasy versus reality. We really don't know if that person has a better life. The person may have a worse life, but you don't know. You just assume, which can take a serious toll on your mental health. The numbers game. That's why we collect friends. We subconsciously collect friends so we feel better about ourselves and so other people can see us as having value. How many people commented on your picture or post? How many likes did your video get? If you receive little to no comments, you take it personally. Guilty as charged. Lack of empathy. Lack of empathy to other humans because we don't view humans as human anymore. We view some person being raped, beaten, or worse as the next viral video. Instead of helping or calling 911, we use our phones to record it. In some instances, real murders are committed for the world to see. And what scares me more than anything is people are liking and sharing this brutality. By us liking and sharing these horrific acts, what are we truly saying about ourselves? We are spreading the message that this type of behavior is acceptable. As long as there's an audience, the supply will continue. How would you feel if that was someone you love? And right underneath, 1 million likes with comments. Now, I'm not saying that social media is all bad and serves no purpose. We just need to learn moderation and a whole lot of self-control. So how do you break your addiction of social media? Admit you have an addiction. You can't fix what you can't acknowledge. Consciously acknowledge it's a habit. It's no different than smoking or drinking. Whenever you go to update your feed, recognize it to be habitual behavior and not a conscious choice. Remember the 80-20 rule from the first video. Mind your triggers. Do you scroll, overshare, or creep? When did you do it? In the morning, at work, before bed? Replace a bad habit with a positive habit. When I quit social media, I immersed myself in a steady stream of comedy, rom-coms, and stand-up. For years, I thought about quitting social media, but for some reason I couldn't. I felt guilty. What would my friends, what would my family think? I thought I would miss it. But the truth is, the only thing that I was missing out on was my life. When I made the announcement that I was leaving, only 2 out of 145 friends responded to my announcement. That in itself puts your social media life into perspective. Want to know how many has contacted me since leaving social media? 3. Want to know if I miss it? Not in the slightest. The only social media site that I'm on right now? This one. And you know what? It feels fantastic. Since making the conscious choice to leave social media, I have more time, energy, and motivation, better sleep quality. My evening alcohol consumption has completely stopped. My thoughts of loneliness completely manageable. I have less body aches and pains. I have a more focused mind. When I was on social media, being at home alone bothered me. Since I've gotten off social media, being at home doesn't bother me at all anymore. It's done the exact opposite. I've drawn closer to the people in my life and a sense of peace that I've not felt in a very long time. So here's my challenge to you. List all your social media sites from least frequented to most frequented. List your sites in order of most important to least important. Each week, delete one site you rarely visit or get anything back from. Your time and a good life is your investment to yourself. So cut out the things that give you little to no return on your investment. Week 2, delete another site that is not important to you, and so on and so on and so on. Continue that until all your social media sites are down to a reasonable and a manageable level. And now for the truly scary part, your Facebook page. So here's my challenge to you. Delete anybody you've never met. Delete anyone who's done you wrong in any way, shape, or form. Delete anybody who's never connected with you in person. Delete anyone who hasn't given you a return on your investment. Delete anybody who hasn't reached out to you in 6 months, and delete anybody who you haven't reached out to in the last 6 months. Most likely, you're left with real life friends, family, and positive colleagues. Now make those people the center of your world. Detach and slow down. Listen for life's whispers without distractions. Enjoy the color and vibrance of the real world. Call a friend and connect in the flesh. Share a laugh, a hug, a tear with a real live person in the real world. Once you've made the conscious choice to either restrict the amount of use or detach altogether, you'll soon realize how much life you missed out on before. Life is what you make it, so make it great.
Hey man, don't let the pink sunglasses fool you.